taking a look at our Patreon page, and down at the bottom right we have a list of the projects that we support on Patreon. The Patreon platform has 1 million people that fund 50,000 projects approximately. So think about that. There's 1 million people that use the Patreon platform to fund just 50,000 people's projects. Now there might be more than 50,000 projects, but there's 50,000 content creators on Patreon. There's 1 million people that participate financially in creating content of all different types. The firearms element on Patreon is large and growing, and we have an ability with this democratized venture capitalism. This is a neat concept where instead of having to use the old paradigm of creating content that's so boring and plain and vanilla that it appeals to so many people that it sells an ad, or that it encourages someone to do something that eventually will result in a little stream of income. And that's a neat concept, and it definitely works when you're doing certain pieces of content. But when you're talking about interesting things, when you're talking about cutting new ground, that kind of thing is not necessarily the best potential for ads and for sponsorships, because there's a real potential for it to fail and to fall on its nose. But that's what real conversation is. That's what real projects are all about, and that's what watching the development of new stuff is all about. So this platform is neat, and we support quite a few projects. Only $1 a month. Our goal isn't to financially support them at all, as much as to include them in a list here for people that might fund our projects or be exploring the platform. And we'd like people to discover these projects in particular that we feel are some of the most two-way driven and interesting and worth your financial support. So without all that said, in this video, why don't we take a look at Gary Gizzard, a friend of ours from Kansas who we met through gun channels. I'd met through gun channels. Met him in real life just the one time, but had an opportunity to meet him multiple times as he goes to some of the actual real life meetups for the gun channels community. But Gary is a unique individual. He's able and competent. He has a background in tech, but not I don't think it's like some of the guys that do exclusively internet and tech. Gary's comfortable and competent, but by no means I don't think he'd consider himself a master or a coder or anything as far as the internet goes. But his projects end up having a level of professionalism and class that give it some real character, and he's also down to earth, and he's able to participate in such a wide variety of projects and in shows and hang with so many different audiences that Gary's very much a bridge, as Clover Tack would say, and able to bring messages consistently around the community. And I think that aspect is something that very few people have achieved what Gary's been able to do, and I think he just does it naturally. But I don't know if he's doing it with intent or not, but certainly worthy of financial support. I don't think his goal is to become a giant channel or to become famous or to do something that requires a bunch of money. But again, the idea of a Patreon platform is to encourage people that are using their money as capitalists with intent, weaponizing their wallets. I think Gary is certainly a project that I'd like to see grow, and I can't wait to see what Gary's able to do with more resources. So we support quite a few projects on Patreon, and we're happy to have Gary in there. He's a regular host on our daily gun show, and many projects, pretty much everything that happens over on gun channels has some Gary's aware of or participated in along the way, and great inspiration and great friend. Let us know in the comments if you're one of the financial supporters of Gary over on Patreon. I'd like to end this series with letting our Patreons know and letting others know that one of the perks that we give to our Patreon supporters is a discount over at our Gear website store. So we'd like to say thanks to the people that help keep our projects online and ideally growing. And thanks for watching.